Week 12 time. We're a special Thursday night edition. Amazon Prime. I'm waiting for the big contract, but we're making a Thursday night game.
Yeah, we're not a halftime show.
Yeah, but we are doing a Thursday night edition because I had a work thing last night, so moved it to tonight. We're gonna keep it kind of quick this week. Dive right into the Week 12 games around the NFL. Neil, any comments about Week 11?
Never anymore.
I will tell you, I did not mean to jinx you.
You didn't what?
I did not mean to jinx you.
I know you didn't.
So, in context, I text Neil.
Oh, wait, hold on. So the context starts 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if we told them that story.
Okay, well, it's 5 minutes left in the NFC title game. Seattle hosting Green Bay.
Green Bay's up 19-7.
Yep, with like I said, 4 minutes, 5 minutes to play. I think we intercept Russell Wilson. Morgan Burnett did, I think.
Yeah, or Clinton Dix, maybe.
I think it was Morgan Burnett. It was the play Julius Peppers told him to slide.
Yes.
That play. After that, you text me, congrats. You're going to the Super Bowl. And I reply, game's not over.
And I was like, just take the compliment, damn it.
Half an hour later.
No, it wasn't a half hour. It was like 2 hours later.
It felt like 2 hours. I think it was only a half hour, probably.
Was that all?
Yeah, because there's 4 minutes left to go in the game.
Yeah, but I think I didn't text you, I think, for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh.
Yeah.
A half hour later, you lost.
So on Sunday, obviously Packers took a devastating loss in overtime against the Seahawks and failed to make the Super Bowl that year and have not made it since. It was last Sunday. Neil is at Soldier Field for the Bears-Packers game.
In person to witness the funeral.
And I think, I want to say this was before we scored the touchdown.
It was, I think we picked up a first down or something.
Yeah, y'all picked up a first down. But remember, I'm also watching YouTube TV, so I'm probably 45 seconds behind the action. Yeah. And I think when I saw you pick up the first down, I was like, this game's over. We can't, because what Caleb was doing and what your offense, which actually gives me some hope for Chicago, and we'll get into it in a little bit, is they completely abandoned the whole, let's have Caleb run around like it's playground ball. And they got him to drop back and do, a timing based offense. And I thought it was pretty effective. And when it wasn't open, Caleb could scramble and get first downs with his feet, which he's very good at. So I did not think we could stop Chicago. And of course we did. And then go down the field, scored the touchdown, but still think the defense, I didn't text you after this because you reply, Green Bay has the ball. And as soon as you replied to me like that, it was like a deja vu to 2014. I'm like, we're going to win, I think, aren't we? And I'm like, we go right down the field, score a touchdown.
In 5 plays.
But Chicago gets down the field. And did you know that Green Bay hasn't had a game-winning, blocked kick since 1937?
There's always a first when it's the Bears. There's always a first.
Yeah, we'll get into the Bears here when we talk about them, but the game management at the end, where you still have a timeout left, what are we doing?
Stupid.
Yeah. We're just settling for a 46 yards? That's not automatic. You can block that. It happens all the time.
And he's perfect inside 40 yards.
Yeah. I would have been trying to get another first down.
Oh yeah.
Throw it. If you can't trust Caleb Williams to manage that, then he's not your franchise quarterback anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You have to trust your guy there. Anyway, let's jump into the games. we shouldn't spend a ton of time because we're in the middle of this game actually right now. I think
Yeah, they're kicking off the second. I'm a little bit behind because of my bootleg TV, but they're kicking off the second half on my
You're
TV.
gonna really talk about your bootleg TV on the internet.
Is Xfinity watching?
I was about to say the only 5 viewers are gonna be like
a couple of the viewers even have the same system I do.
Yeah, probably. Wow, snitch. Yeah, but anyway, it's 10-3 in the very beginning of the third quarter. Bold prediction, I think Cleveland's going to cover here.
Well, yeah, they've it's actually, this is kind of weird. We've never actually had this before where we're actually talking live about a game. And I guess we'll be able to see it as we're going along in the show here. But no, it actually kind of it reminds me of the well, this is the old soul. So there are people that pay attention to this have been watching football for a while, I imagine. It reminds me of the 2009 Browns Steelers game right now, where now that was later in the season and it was a much colder night. And the Steelers probably weren't as good as they are now. And the Browns might have been just as bad.
Was that a Josh Cribbs game?
That was a Josh Cribbs game, like where I think Colt McCoy was starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And they basically knocked the Steelers out of the play. They didn't knock because they still came back to beat Green Bay the next week.
I was about to say, don't bring that up.
That was a wild game. But
yeah, it was.
That game essentially knocked them out because they needed that win. And not that this game is going to knock them out, but nobody gave Cleveland a chance that night. And nobody gave them a chance tonight, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I certainly didn't. I picked the Steelers. I figured they'd win by at least a touchdown tonight. Now they could still, but they're off. I mean, they can't block the Browns defensive line right now.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson's been sacked 4 times in the first half. So we won't give our predictions here because it's like we said, it's halfway through the game already, but we did want to say we covered that game. Speaking of the Bears, they're the first game up.
Oh, and a fumble on the first drive of the second half for Cleveland, and Pittsburgh has it.
Was it a Jameis fumble?
No, it was Jerry Jeudy, I think.
Of course it was. I was about to say it's definitely not Nick Chubb.
The 25-yard line. Oh no, it wasn't Jerry Jeudy. It was whoever number 19 is. I don't know that.
Is that Tillman?
Yeah, it might be. Oh, great hit. Great hit. But anyways.
Yeah, it's Tillman. But anyway, going back to this game, the Vikings and the Bears, we can pretty much I'll say this, it's kind of weird. Like the Bears, for all intents and purposes, I think everybody pretty much says they're done, right? But they're basically a game behind the 49ers. And I think they're right with maybe a half game behind the Bucks.
The blowout wins they had over some bad teams early on in the year really have helped them to still be
to get 4-6
alive. Yeah.
I think theoretically speaking, the Bears are done, but it's kind of interesting to be they're not I think the NFC race, they basically have put 11 teams and the Bears are the 12th team. But in this game, I think everyone's adjusted. If you look at that line, it's 3.5. Chicago, this 3.5 point home underdog. I think last week they were 6.5 to Green Bay. I thought that was way too high. Because there's some adjustments, like when Shaden Waldron gets fired, who they bring in as the OC?
Thomas Brown.
Like I mentioned earlier, I thought he had a much better plan of attack than somebody like Shane Waldron had. So with that being said, I think 3.5 is a more appropriate number, but I still think Minnesota wins this game. I think they're better. pretty much every phase of the game right now. They're way better coached. I think that's the main difference. Like Kevin O'Connell is like leagues above Eberflus and his staff, I think.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to take
the Bears never interviewed Kevin O'Connell.
It's just like there's a ton of teams now probably regretting they didn't interview Harbaugh.
Yep.
And Harbaugh, Sean Payton, like there's some good coaches that were obvious. Kevin O'Connell looked like a good one too, and a lot of teams passed him by. But I'm going to take the Vikings 24-17. I got it as a touchdown game, but I did like what I saw from the Bears. They at least had some type of fight in them. They didn't like completely quit last week, so I think that's promising. But I think the Vikings are a better football team right now.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings. I'm going to take them by 2 touchdowns. I'm going to take them 31-17. Yeah, I guess it did go better last week than I anticipated in terms of competitiveness. The offense did look better. But I mean, anybody, like I told my brother when we were at the game, even when the Bears took over and they were going down the field, like there was never, there was some throws there, like the 4th and 3 throw to Rome Odunze to keep the drive alive. The 3rd and 19 throw to Rome Odunze to get at the 4th and 3. The big throw, there was a throw to Keenan. I think a throw to DJ Moore on that drive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big stop for the Browns on 4th down.
You are way behind.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I never once thought, even when they were lining up for the field goal, that it was going to end well. I'd seen it play out too many times. The funny thing is, obviously, Eberflus's his comments after the game, like, well, we were afraid of a fumble, we were afraid of a penalty.
You were afraid to win.
They were afraid to win. But ironically, Matt Nagy had a very similar, and there's a video going around on social media about this, where it was Eberflus's comments, and then in the middle, it was Nagy's comments after the 2019 Chargers game. Very similar game, where the Bears had driven down the field. They'd given away the lead late. Trubisky played a terrible game that day, as he did a lot. And there was then they turtled towards the end, and Eddie Pinheiro missed a game-winning field goal. I think he might have even doinked it too. It was in the same. Well, I don't think he doinked it. I think he missed it, but it was the same hash, the same yard line as the Cody Parkey kick.
Yeah, and I mean, Soldier Field's not an easy place to kick either.
It's not. But then, even funnier than that, ironically, since they're playing them this week, 11 years ago, Mark Trestman had a situation against the Vikings where on 2nd down in overtime, he decided to kick a field goal with Robbie Gould. Now, Robbie Gould obviously is a different kicker than Eddie Pinheiro or Cairo Santos, but the reason why he kicked on 2nd down was because the Vikings had missed a field goal earlier, and he was afraid the same thing was going to happen to them. So again, when you coach scared, you're coaching to lose, and that's just, I mean, what I'll say is this, and what Sunday did give me is this. Now, it won't happen, but to me, the best case scenario would be, now the Bears are going to lose this Sunday. They're going to get annihilated on Thanksgiving. The best case scenario, and I know it won't happen, but if they were to fire Eberflus and just give Thomas Brown a chance to be interim head coach. I mean, I'm not saying, like, I know it was only one game, and you don't want to take too much from press conferences, but he at least seems like he brings a different energy to the team that the Bears don't normally have from a coach. And I'm not saying I want him to be the head coach next year, but I'd be willing to give him a tryout for the last month of the season to see if, if they look any bit better under him. Like, and if, hey, like if Caleb looks better and he's the head, like the interim head coach, then maybe this is someone you think about going with, or maybe he's the top of your list in January or something. And I know he was bad in Carolina last year, but he does have better weapons, and I think he has a better quarterback to play with. But we'll see. If you're talking about best case scenario with the Bears, it almost never happens. So I imagine that it's not, and it'll be Brian Flores is going to throw some crazy blitzes at the Bears. I think it's going to be, and if Caleb throws interceptions on Sunday, who cares? He hasn't thrown a turnover. He hasn't had a turnover worthy play since Jacksonville.
No, I think Caleb's been playing, I think, okay. The Patriot game wasn't great.
I just want him to, like, I want him to be in an offense where he's allowed to take chances.
Yeah.
And
we saw some of that. Like, not all the throws were, they weren't dink and dunk, all of them. Like, the throw to Dunze is what stood out to me.
Yeah, and the throw to Cole Kmet on the corner route, that was a beautiful throw. He threw it right in the pocket of a cover 2. So that was, and I did, like, I was getting food at the time, so I wasn't in the stadium to watch. Well, I was on the concourse, but the 4th down play where Eberflus wanted to kick a field goal at the start of the second half, and Caleb like turned to the sidelines and screamed at him to get the field goal crew off the field. He wanted to go for it. That's like, I want this to become Caleb's team. Like, screw Eber. Like, don't let Eberflus drag you down at this point.
Yeah. I definitely, I don't like Eberflus's game management, but I also don't know if, like, I don't think I agree with you. I don't think the future head coach or even potential like candidates are on this staff. I think you got.
I don't think so. I'm just saying, give him a shot to be. You froze. Steven.
Yeah, I think.
Well.
Yep. Sorry, you lost me.
Yeah, you froze for about 10 seconds there.
My apologies. We'll get back to it. I didn't think it would lose the slide, I guess, too, but it did.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I don't think that we're going to. I think the Bears they need to bring in somebody from the outside. Sure, I think it would be a very McCaskey move to even consider anybody on the staff at the moment. I think you got to bring somebody that Harbaugh would have been the perfect hire. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Harbaugh would have been perfect. Like, to go from Michigan to Chicago, a place he's played at before. He's a Midwest guy. But to me, I think the ultimate problem with the Bears is ownership and the fact that McCaskies have a pattern of getting guys that everyone gets along with, but not necessarily, like, they need kind of like a maverick to come in and like completely shake it up in a meaningful way. But, Lovie Smith, Dick Duran, Matt Nagy, Mark Trestman,
just like
John
we talked
Fox,
about last week.
They're not culture changers. They're not. No. They're the status quo, and the status quo is frankly just not good enough in Chicago. So it'll be interesting to see. That'll be.
Oh, Jesus. He froze again. Oh, boy. See, this is what happens when we talk about
January. We assume. On my back now.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Oh, geez, we lost him again. Oh, look at the snow coming down in Cleveland. It snowed in Chicago today. Did you know that? How many people are watching us right now? When I go to YouTube, am I talking into an echo chamber? Let's check. What do we think, guys? 0 people right now. So yes, this is an echo chamber. Oh, here he is again.
We'll try this again. Sorry.
Let's just move on. This is what talking about the Bears does.
We'll fly through these games. Hopefully my internet doesn't crash here. Lions, Colts. Lions have been, I think at home, they've been like an unbeatable force. On the road, I think they have shown some vulnerabilities. I think the main vulnerability.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Turning the ball over. When has the turnover games, I think they can lose.
Steven. Oh boy.
I'm back now. Not sure what's going on right now. But this is awful. Lions, though, I think they have a lot of weaknesses, or they don't have a lot of weaknesses. The Colts, too, I don't think are the type of defense I think that's really going to be able to stop the Lions. I actually think that 7.5 is a little generous for the Colts. I'm going to take the Lions by 14, 34-20.
Yeah, Detroit is rolling. It's not often in the NFL that you can predict a massive blowout like we did last week with Jacksonville. It's not college football where Alabama plays Mercer, but that's what it looked like. Detroit is just head and shoulders above. They're not head and shoulders above everybody, but above mediocre teams, which the Colts are, which says something. That tells you how good and talented and well coached they are. But I'm also going to take Detroit. I'll just take them by 10 this week. I'll go 30-20.
I think we both have been saying this for about a month now. Detroit's the best team in the NFL.
They're the one team I think that wouldn't be afraid of Kansas City in the Super Bowl too.
No, well, in terms of like on paper, Kansas City's not that scary. It's like the aura of Kansas City.
It's the aura, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh crap, it's Mahomes, it's Kelsey, it's Andy Reid. It's like, what kind of hijinks do they have ready to go? It's kind of like the old Patriots. Speaking of the old Patriots, the new Patriots are in Miami this Sunday. Miami is a team I brought up last week as a team that needed a must-win game, or that had a must-win game, and they pulled out. They ended up pulled it out. Excuse me, pardon my French, but they pulled out a win against the Patriots or against the Raiders last week, where they were in a game I think that they were expected to win. I don't think this game's going to be as easy though. The Patriots, to me, have been playing pretty good football over the last like 3 or 4 weeks. Really, they kind of hit a low point when they lost to Jacksonville. I guess that was in London. But ever since then, I feel like they've been playing a lot better. I think they really had a chance to beat the Rams, and I love the way Drake May is playing. I think if there's any bad team right now that has a silver lining to their season, it's definitely the Patriots. Drake May looks like a legitimate franchise quarterback. So Patriot fans should probably be very excited about that development. Just like the Bears are with Caleb Williams, like the Broncos are with Bo Nix, and the Commanders are with Jaden Daniels. Looks like this rookie class is really good. This is one of the tougher games of the week because I think it's going to be a close game. But I don't know if I can just take the Dolphins to just win. I don't think I can just pick the Patriots to win this game outright. I think I will take the Dolphins, but my confidence level is not that high. I'm gonna go 24-21 field goal game for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Miami's covering 7 here.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot for a team that really only. I mean, like they've looked a little bit more like themselves the last couple of weeks, but they're not the same team. I've always liked Drake May, so I'm excited that he's been playing well. I think Miami does have enough just to get out. I won't pick the same score as you, but I'll say something like 28-24, which is pretty close to what New England had last week.
Yeah. And the Dolphins too, if they do win this game, that makes, I think, that Green Bay Thanksgiving night game a little more interesting because they'd be 5-6. If they could somehow win the next two, they're right back in that conversation for that last playoff seed. Everybody's talking about like Cincinnati possibly like making a run at the playoffs, but I think it's interesting that like the Dolphins aren't really in that discussion, and the Dolphins have a better record than the Bengals do. Because what are the Bengals are 4-7, I believe.
Yeah, right? The Bengals are just,
and the Dolphins are 4-6. So the Bengals have not had their bye yet, and their bye is actually this week. But if the Dolphins can win, then they have like a clear advantage over Cincinnati even. So, and that 7 seed's kind of up for grabs right now. I mean, Denver is the 7 seed currently, but they're only 6-5. It's definitely like there's definitely, I think, a possibility for the Dolphins to kind of make a run here. Bucks Giants. I'm gonna go quick here because Tommy DeVito is the starting quarterback for New York. They have one of the most putrid offenses in the entire league. Their defense sucks. Taking Tampa by a lot. I'm gonna go 31-14.
Yeah. Poor Daniel Jones. I mean, like they probably did need to make a switch just for the fact that he's not going to be in the plans after this year, which it was dumb for them to even.
DeVito had some magical games last year, like Green Bay Monday night last year. I mean, his scrambling ability is there. Maybe he can get something done on his feet, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's also Joe Barry's defense, not Todd Bowles. So
yeah, true. I'm also going to take Tampa by a good margin here. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them 34-17.
Cowboys Commanders. Wow. Kind of another game I think I'll go quick on. To me, the Cowboys are like the team that I think they're going to be picking inside the top 5 by the end of the year. I mean, they don't have anything going for them. They're in a horrendous football team pretty much all the way around. I think the main question is like, is McCarthy fired before the end of the season?
I'm surprised he hasn't been fired yet.
Are you ready, by the way, next week for the best Thanksgiving matchup ever?
Oh, it's Giants Cowboys, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we'll be eating dinner.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be like the time of day where I'm just doing something else and not watching Tommy DeVito against Cooper Rush.
Yeah, I certainly won't want to watch football after the morning. So
yeah, they need to move the Green Bay. Here's what I'll tell the NFL to do. I got your perfect plan. Okay. Move the Green Bay Dolphins game up to 4:30 Eastern time. Okay. So right after the Bears Lions early game, right? And then at prime time, we're not going to have an NFL, or we can put the Cowboys Commanders game. We'll put that, or Cowboys Giants. We'll put that on Sunday night or Thursday night, excuse me. And we'll bring the Egg Bowl back to Thursday.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need. We need the Egg Bowl. We don't need Cowboys Giants.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think this game's going to be pretty ugly. I mean, the Commanders had an ugly loss to Philly last week. I think they're going to come out pretty strong. They're still a really good football team. I think that game just kind of got away from them. They had a chance to take the lead like almost halfway through the third quarter. They just kicked the field goal, but instead they just kind of all fell apart on them, and Saquon Barkley went crazy. I'm going to take the Commanders 27-10.
Yeah. This will be a get healthy game for Washington after a couple tough games for them. I'm sure I was going to just look up StatHead there. It usually takes you a few minutes to get StatHead going, but I was thinking, when was the last time Washington was 10-point favorites over Dallas?
I mean,
might be like the 60s, honestly. Oh, no. Like maybe the late 80s.
2015, maybe? Because like they had 10 points is a lot, though. It's like because they made the playoffs in 15, and then Roma was hurt. And Dak
Are you talking about that Monday night game?
Yeah.
Dallas ended up beating them.
Yeah.
That I don't know, because Washington wasn't good at that point. Like they were like 5 and like they won their division, but they weren't. Here I have it pulled up here. They were only 3.5 point favorites that night.
Yeah, 2012, the Cowboys weren't bad. I mean, and I think
they played each other to win the division that
yeah.
That
so, and then because there's more of the years that the Redskins or the Commanders.
What was the year Dallas won 1-15? Was that 89?
89, or was that 90?
I think it was. I think 90. They went. I think they went 7-9. That was Jimmy Johnson's
first year of Jimmy Johnson, or was that the last year of Tom Landry?
That was the first. Let me see here.
What a great shot, though! I'm watching this Thursday night. Look at the snow, man.
I know. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I love when they have to bring in the
Okay, so we might have an answer here. In 1989. Now I don't know if this was the last time. Jimmy Johnson was coaching in 89. So Washington at RFK was 14-point favorites over the Cowboys.
So it's Taylor Swift had just been born.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. The Cowboys came into the game. Oh, it was the Cowboys' only win that year. It was the Cowboys' only win that year.
Okay, well, we're taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, you know what? I think they're going to.
What is the Cowboys' money line if you took them? How much would you make?
Oh, they got to be like plus 450 or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to put Washington. While we're thinking about this, I'm going to go 31-10.
So I had 27-10. You have 31-10.
Yeah.
Cowboys are plus 450.
Oh, I called it. I said they got to be at least plus 450.
Yeah. So, yep. Yeah. So you got it right on the head there. There's really no actual sense to take Dallas here. Washington, to me, is the easy winner in this game.
No.
I'll say they're an easy winner for there to be an easy winner in the NFL. There's really no such thing as an easy winner in the NFL. Until you get to this game, I think Kansas City should probably be another easy winner against Carolina. There's a lot of bad games in this week. Yeah,
there is.
Carolina has been playing better. They did beat the Giants and the Saints, which are, I think the Saints, that was the last game of Dennis Allen, if I'm not mistaken, and they were playing like one of the worst teams in the NFL at that point. And then the Giants, I would say the Giants are the worst team in the NFL at the moment.
Yeah.
Who has the number one pick right now? Jacksonville.
Giants.
I think it's Jacksonville.
It might be Jacksonville, or maybe
they haven't had Lawrence in the last couple of weeks, so that's why they're playing so poorly. I think Carolina might keep it low scoring in terms of I don't know if Mahomes and Kelsey and their offense are just going to put up a ton of points in this game to make it ugly, but I certainly don't see Carolina winning this game. I'm going to go Chiefs 24-14. I also don't see Carolina scoring 20 against Spagnuolo. That's the other thing. So I can't see Carolina winning. But I don't know if Kansas City is just a lock to cover a 10.5 point spread. I think that's a pretty big number. I would have gone probably more like 8 or 9.
I think they'll cover, but I think it'll be like a backdoor kind of cover. Yeah. I'm going to go 26-13.
Kansas City fans are going to watch that and not be happy with the performance. I'm like convinced of that. I think that's going to happen.
They haven't been happy much at all. They're also a very spoiled fan base now.
Yeah. But they've been playing ugly all season, and finally it kind of caught up to them last week. But they had a chance to win that game until the very end. So, but yeah, we're both on the Chiefs here.
Well, they probably had the most. And now this sounds weird, and we were talking about it a few weeks ago, but they had probably the most unimpressive 15-game win streak in NFL history.
Yeah.
I know, like, well, at least we won 50. Yeah, at least you did.
I think it's a testament to Andy Reid, but I don't think their roster is all that great.
I don't understand how Matt Nagy's name is getting floated up with the top head coaches again. Like,
he's such a Raiders head
2 worst years have been with him as his offensive coordinator.
He feels like the next Raiders coach.
No, like you know who's the next? Well, actually, no. I hear a lot of people saying that Deion's going to go to Dallas and draft Shedeur.
The Raiders need where? Oh yeah, because they would take Shedeur and Deion as a package deal.
I would love if the team ahead of if Deion did go to Dallas and the team ahead of Dallas picked Shedeur.
Because he couldn't tamper with that.
No, you couldn't. Yeah,
like that would be against league rules.
And if there was a gentleman's deal that like you can't pick him, that would
NBA apply. That would be the NBA.
That would be the Bronny.
Yeah. Well, I love the Bill Simmons angle. Like all draft season, he's just like the Celtics need to trade up ahead of the Lakers and take Bronny and just hold him for ransom. And I was like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
The Lakers would have to beg you, and I'd be like, give me everything. Yeah. Give me Dalton Connect. Like, I know you drafted him way ahead of this, but he's ours now. Like, look at me. I'm the captain. Yeah. But I think the Chiefs win this game against Carolina. Tennessee Texans. I think we'd be quick here. I think the Texans win this. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, though.
The Texans had an impressive victory.
But to me, though, like, what's weird is like, yeah, they won 34-10, but like maybe through the first 60% of the game, I'm like, this is actually kind of like Dallas has had some chances to make this pretty close. And then they pulled away like in the second half. I think the Texans are going to revert back to what they've been doing all season long. I think they're going to play down to their competition. And I think this game will be within a touchdown. I'm going to go 23-13 or 23-16, excuse me. I think it's Tennessee is not going to win this game, but I don't think they're going to get blown out in it.
Yeah. I'll go kind of similar to that Kansas City idea of a backdoor cover. I'll go 28-19.
They're like the unaccomplished Chiefs. That's the Texans this year.
Yeah.
Like their defense really makes a lot of plays. Like I think they're impressive, but it's like I'm missing something this year from the Texans. They're not inspiring to me at all. I wrote Raiders -6. It should be Raiders.
I'm going to take the Broncos to cover that.
yeah. Lock it in. I'm going to take the Broncos to win. And I'm actually going to say the Broncos win convincingly because the one thing I think the Broncos have done really well is I think they've feasted on bad defenses.
Yeah.
And I think the Raiders aren't a great defense. Outside of Crosby, I don't really like any of their, like, especially on the back end. I think Bo Nix can feast in this game. Where I think Bo Nix and the Broncos can struggle is against top end units, like any rookie quarterback would. But I'm gonna take the Broncos. I think they're gonna continue to roll. Give me 30-17.
The Raiders are. I'm just thinking about Max Crosby there. He's a guy they should honestly trade in the offseason and try to get some draft picks. Because they're so far away from being competitive.
Y'all are going to trade 2 first-round picks for him after we offered 2 first-round picks. And the Raiders will say, well, we thought the Bears pick would be higher.
I wouldn't. I was going to say I wouldn't mind a
the Khalil Mack trade all over again.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. And it's the Raiders. Maybe John Gruden will come back.
They should have. I think he's happy at Barstool.
He did seem very happy.
Yeah, actually, he's been hilarious. But no, yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos pretty big here. I'll go 28 to 13 victory here for them. They're clicking. That Chiefs game gave them a lot of confidence, I think.
I do want to bring up one stat that I thought was interesting for Brock Bowers specifically. He is on pace this season.
I seen this tweet.
I'm not pulling a tweet. Like, I just noticed it. Somebody else might have tweeted it too.
Yeah.
But he's on pace, I think, for 126 catches this year. 126.
As the tweet said, he's on pace for the greatest tight end season of all time.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
Yeah, by receptions and yard standards.
Yeah, the touchdowns aren't actually there.
Yeah, he's only on pace for like 5 touchdowns.
I think he's got 3 this year, which makes sense. The Raiders don't score that many touchdowns. So, but he's on pace for 126 receptions.
Do you know who ran a really good 2 tight end offense? Is Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, he did.
They should call him.
Yeah, because Mayer's just like not doing anything.
Why didn't they keep Rich Bisaccia?
I'm thankful they didn't. So
yeah, I mean,
Rich Bisaccia caused you a lot of pain last week.
Yeah, he did.
But
he also told his guys to cheat.
I didn't finish my sentence though about Brock Bowers. So he's on pace for 126. Do you know what the record for single season receptions by a tight end is?
Isn't it like 104 or something like that?
It's 118. So Zach Ertz finished with 118, I think, in 2018. And Travis Kelce's best season is 111. So Brock Bowers is putting up like wide receiver statistics at the tight end position as a rookie.
Yeah. Please get him a quarterback, dear God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like if this dude, like, I picked him in a dynasty league in a tight end premium slot, so you get 1.5 per reception. And every week I'm just going like, you just see the tight end, like my tight end slot just do that every week. It's been a lot of fun, but Brock Bowers is the saving grace of this team. And to me, like, it's kind of like Puka Nacua last year. It's like, I think they actually do have real arguments for Rookie of the Year, but they will not win. It will go to Daniels. The other thing about this game, if Daniels struggles like another couple weeks, because he has not been great the last like half a month, right? Like maybe 2-3 weeks, he hasn't been that great. If Bo Nix keeps this surge going, does he have an argument for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
I think so too. I don't think it's going to happen.
A lot of football left, but
yeah, I agree. And you never know what could happen. I mean, I think even Drake May's played awesome. I think there's a lot of like Neighbors in the first couple weeks of the season looked like a contender, but he kind of fell off. But this rookie class in general, and then I think Caleb Williams still has the highest ceiling of all of them, but he's definitely not going to win it just because of the way the Bears season has gone. So I think it's been a fun year around the league for a lot of young players. San Francisco, Green Bay. This game scares me. This game scares me, Neil, because this is basically a playoff game for the 49ers. And you know what happens when the 49ers and the Packers meet in the playoffs.
Yeah, 49ers are good with their backs up against the wall.
Everything on paper says the Packers should win this game because the 49ers have not been playing well. I don't think Nick Bosa is going to play. Apparently, Brock Purdy had to stop practicing today because of shoulder tightness. Oh. So there's a lot of things going against the 49ers. The Packers are missing some guys on defense, but nothing is as impactful as Nick Bosa or potentially Brock Purdy. That being said, I'll wait until I see it. I'm taking the 49ers by a point. I'm going to take them 27-26 in a heartbreaking game for the Packers. So and then the 49ers will end up in the NFC title game again. Move to Detroit this time.
I'm gonna take Green Bay. As much success, I know it feels like a playoff game, and it technically is for San Francisco, but it still isn't. And Green Bay has had success against San Francisco, outside of like 2019 in the regular season, and then if you go back way longer, like 10 years ago, but way different teams. Since Matt LaFleur has been there, they've had success against San Francisco. And I think Green Bay will. I think they're going to pull it out. I think they're going to win. It's going to be another close game. I think they're going to win 23-20. San Francisco has, and I think specifically, I think the fourth quarter is going to go Green Bay's way, and that's what's going to be the difference. San Francisco has not been a good team in the fourth quarter, especially defensively. And I know Kyle Shanahan likes to bring on his friends on the staff. He might be regretting bringing Brandon Staley onto his staff because his defense has seen a noticeable decline. Now I know they're a little bit long in the tooth, but I think some things are catching up to San Francisco.
I think the main thing is their defense it's like when Nick Bosa left the game on Sunday, it's like their defense went from like top 10 looking to like bottom 10.
Yeah.
He looks he is that much of a game wrecker. He's up there in my opinion with Watt and Garrett and like some of the best rushers in the league. I think if he doesn't play, Green Bay should win this game, but like the only thing, like I said, I'm worried about is it's just this juju that San Francisco seems to have against us, and the fact Kittle's playing. That's bad. If there's a team, if a guy knows how to destroy a team, it's George Kittle against Green Bay. Like I got PTSD all over. And he must have grown up a Vikings fan or a Bears fan or something.
No, he's a Bears fan, yeah.
Because he said it even today. Oh, I'm not missing the Green Bay game. And
he's in 2020 when the last time the 49ers were not good, and the Bears needed San Francisco to beat Arizona on that Saturday, the day after Christmas. It was like it was right before week 16.
Yeah. It was the first Amazon Prime game, actually.
Yes, it was the first Amazon Prime game. You're right. And at the end of his press conference, I think somebody was like, "What do you think about the fact that you guys opened the door to the Bears getting into the playoffs?" And he was like, "I love it. I love the Bears. Go Bears."
Yeah. Makes me sick because George Kittle gives me like I said, he just gives me PTSD because it's like every time we have a shot at making something, he just comes in and like just destroys us. He's a great player and all, but don't be great this weekend. That's all I'm asking. Another underrated game. I think a lot of people are going to be watching the Packers 49ers game, but I think this game actually has just as much, if not more, meaning. Because if I'm not mistaken, the winner of this game is the leader in the NFC West, right?
Yeah, I suppose it would be unless Green Bay or unless San Francisco won and Seattle won, then there might be.
It is a cluster. So if Arizona wins,
Arizona would pull away.
And I guess the Rams match up against the Eagles would also matter later that night. So, but still a very big win, or a very big game, because Arizona would basically like distance themselves in a huge way from the Seahawks if they were to win. But the Seahawks could end the day in first place in the division, is the way I remember it. So that being said, I'm actually going to take the Cardinals. I don't really know why the Seahawks are favored in this game, to be completely honest with you. Like, yeah, I get they had a big win in San Francisco last week. But that line moved because that was 3.5 when I saw it, but it's only Arizona -1 now, unless I miswrote that. But I'm taking Arizona here. I think they're a much better team than the Seahawks are. I love what what's his name? I've praised him so much, and I'm blanking on his name now. Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, yes.
I love what he's done the last year and a half with his team. I told you back in April I thought this was a potential playoff team, and I think my prediction will start to come true this weekend. I'm taking the Cardinals 27-20 in Seattle.
I'm also going to take the Cardinals. They've been playing they're hot right now is the only word for it. I playing in Seattle is going to be difficult, obviously, because Seattle, with the win last week, has a little bit of a sense of renewed energy into their season, and that building's always fun when the Seahawks are playing for something that's relatively important to them. So it won't be an easy game for Arizona, and by the line, actually, well, they wouldn't cover. I am going to take Arizona, but I think it'll only be a field goal in the difference. I'm going to take Arizona like 27-24.
Yeah. So we both got the Cardinals, but Seattle's a tough place to play, and if it's I feel like if it's a close game, Geno and the Seahawks magic is there. So I think that'll be one of those games like on Sunday evening. It's about 7:00. Everybody's tuning in, but once the Packers 49ers game ends, like Scott Hansen's gonna have to kick everybody off NFL Red Zone.
Yeah,
and like all the people will be like, no. But it should be an exciting game. It's kind of a shame it's covered up nationally, like, because I think to me this should be a nationally televised game because it's a pretty important matchup, I think, and it could even have wild card ramifications as well. Don't look now, but the Eagles, like, we talked so much junk about them like a month and a half ago, but looking like the second best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
And the way I'm looking at this game is I think I actually feel very confident Philly's going to, I don't want to say blow out the Rams, but I feel like they're a better team. I think in a lot of ways, I think they're just talented all the way around. I think they're going to have an answer for everything the Rams have. I'm going to say the Eagles in kind of a big, big way here. Give me the Eagles 27-17. I have not been that impressed. I know Stafford had a big game last week against the Patriots defense that has shown flashes of being good, but I think Philly's bringing something else on. I think it's the defense on Philly that's really stood out to me. And I think, like, if you look at what they've gotten from a lot of the rookie, like the two rookie corners they've got, like DeJean, the kid from Toledo, Mitchell, what they've been able to produce in the back end has been pretty impressive. I like Philly in this game. I think Philly's even a dark horse Super Bowl contender at this point.
Yeah, and well,
I wouldn't even say dark horse. I mean, they are 8-2. So
yeah. No, I think the Rams are kind of teetering on the verge of, like, they're there, but they're just hanging on to contention at this point.
Yeah, I think they almost feel like a team that's destined to be playing for like a playoff spot, like the 7th seed on week 18, but they need things to go their way.
Yeah, they need 14 things to go their own way. I'm gonna take Philly too. I things are just clicking for them lately, and I'm going to take them by a touchdown, but I think it's going to be like a 27-20 game. But I think it's going to be how would you say it? I mean, if as convincing of a touchdown game as you could get. Like it'll be a very sturdy victory for Philly. I think they'll be happy leaving LA.
Yeah. So I think we both agree. And what they did last week to Washington, I think, was an underrated performance across the league. I think since it was on Thursday, I think people forgot about it, but like they waxed Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty impressive. I got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Sirianni has turned this team around. I don't know if it's even him, but they are a completely different team than they were in mid-September. And then last game of the weekend, the Harbaugh Bowl. The Harbaugh.
I like that. The Harbaugh.
Yeah. I like both of these teams. I love the way they play. I think the best quarterback in the league right now is on the Ravens, but I think the best coach team in the NFL are the Chargers. So this is like a theory, what matters more? I think in this year's NFL, I was having this conversation, and this isn't really like, I'm not going to get too specific on each team because we've talked a lot about both teams this year. But to me, like, we've been talking about like the NFL. Me and my buddy were, and we were talking about like, you know, what are the most common, like, what's the most common denominator you see about great teams this year in the NFL? And I was like, I think it's coaching. Mm-hmm. I think like if you look around the NFL right now, the best teams have good coaching. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Chargers. You look in the NFC, the Lions. I think Matt LaFleur has done a really good job. I think you mentioned the Rams. Like, I don't think they have a ton of talent, but McVay keeps them in it.
Yeah.
And poor coaching on, like, look at the Bears. Like, there are other examples like the Raiders, the Jags. Y'all aren't that bad, but the point is good coaching has kind of risen to the top, and bad coaching has sent talented teams, I think, towards the bottom of the league, like the Bears and the Jags. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I'm going to take the Chargers in this game simply based off of principle. But it's going to be close. Give me Chargers by a field goal, 23-20.
I really want to take the Chargers because
the Ravens also don't lose a lot too straight. That's the other. They don't lose 2 straight games.
And has Jim ever beat Jack?
Or John, you mean?
Or excuse me. Yeah, I was thinking because I was thinking of Jack Harbaugh being at the game. Sorry, has Jim ever beat John?
So Jim Harbaugh was only there from 11 to
14.
14. Did the Ravens
played in 11 on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, in 2011 they played on Christmas night, right? You said
Thanksgiving night,
and the Ravens won.
The Ravens won, and then of course they beat them in the Super Bowl.
Those were the only 2 times they
This is the first time they were meeting again since the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl
47.
47.
Yeah,
first time in over 10 years. Well, Harbaugh was gone. He was in college for a long time.
Yeah, I mean he was out of the NFL for 10 years.
That's what makes this season so much more, like, even more impressive. It's like he was gone and he like didn't miss a beat.
I really love Jim Harbaugh and I love the Chargers and I love what they're doing. And it would not surprise me at all if they win. But it would be hard seeing Baltimore, like you said, lose 2 times in a row. And I think they're too talented to be a 7-5 team. You know, that's like kind of with Denver not going to obviously, though, not a lot of, they're still going to make the playoffs because of there's just very little behind the last wild card in the AFC. But
but like this is before Lamar, but like I feel like there are a lot of Ravens teams with John Harbaugh that are like this talented, that are this good, but end up like being, a 11-5, 10-6, even 9-7 type team that makes the playoffs and like even can make a deep run, like the 08 team, right?
Yeah, because they're built to win in the playoffs. Yeah,
they're built to win in the playoffs, but like I don't necessarily.
They haven't done it in a while.
It could be interesting because like I think they have the best quarterback in the league this year. Could be interesting.
It'll make for some great wild card games if they're going to end up being a wild card, but it'll make for some great wild card.
And who's the 08 Titans of the AFC right now?
Oh, well, it would be the Chiefs, I guess you'd say, right?
I would say Pittsburgh.
Or Pittsburgh. I was thinking as like a 1 seed.
Both. Yeah. It's like the top of the NFL right now, like the top of the AFC. They don't even feel like the best teams. Like I would say the Bills and the Ravens are better.
Yeah.
But that's not the way the standings are going to shake out. Like the Ravens are really a combined 0-2 against the top teams, but I think the Ravens are better than the Chiefs and the Steelers, even though they don't have the results to show that. This game's really tough. This might be one of the toughest games all year. Like part of me wants to really pick the Ravens because I think on paper they are a better team, but like this season, the best coach teams, and I'm not saying John Harbaugh is a bad coach, but like it's more of the best coach team in the NFL, in my opinion, all year long has been the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are not that talented. Like they do a lot of the little things right, and they respond well.
Oh, so, I know I'm behind you, but I just seen what Jameis did.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers, I think, in this game. Final points before you go out. Any final points about this?
I'm just going to take Baltimore 20-17.
All right. Well, that's the Week 12 edition. Thank you for watching. We'll be back early on Monday next week for a Thanksgiving week special edition. And then a couple weeks from now, we'll be back to our normal Wednesday night routine. So that's it. Take care, everybody.